Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at the new Unholy Tree. Now, as I mentioned before, the big change, the massive change, is that Scourge Strike is now only one Unholy rune, as opposed to one Unholy, one Frost. Now, this makes the rotation completely different, right? When you get Unholy Spec, obviously you get Master of Ghouls as well, so that's baseline, you get a Ghoul. The Unholy sort of thing on the bonus is you get Unholy Might, so it's 15% extra strength. You also get Reaping as baseline. Now what this does is, this is a really key ability. Whenever you hit with Blood Strike, Pestilence or Festering Strike, the runes you spent become death runes. Okay? So what this actually means is, your rotation to start with is really, really odd. I'll show you just right in a second. And the other thing is Blightcaller. This is the mastery bonus. This increases the damage of your diseases. Okay? So if I learn this, and just don't put any talent point in the tree, you can see the basic rotation. Because there's nothing in this tree that actually gives you an ability. You've got it all you need already. Okay? So I'll get Scourge Strike out. Pop it on my hotbar. Let's get Pestilence off there because that's going to confuse you. But basically, the way you do it is this. You have 3 abilities, you press them. You go Outbreak, okay, to get your diseases on the target. It doesn't normally send fireworks up when you cast it. That was just Simon. And what you do is you press Festering Strike to increase the length of your diseases and refresh them. And then what you'll find is you've got 6 Unholy runes. You've got 4 death runes and 2 unholy runes. So you can press Scourge Strike 6 times in a row. Okay?
Holy shit.
In the meantime, you've actually got time to cast a couple of death coils. So there you go. You can keep casting 6 Scourge Strikes. Wow. Okay? That's fucking mental. And then the diseases, obviously, I'm not really doing this very well, but there's still time on them, so I'll put another Festering Strike to refresh them a bit. They're now back up to... They're running out, actually. But that'll be okay, because I can kind of keep them up just by doing an extra one if you need to. There's no reason. But Outbreak's up already again, so if I wanted to, I could just let them drop off, press Outbreak, and then do 6 Scourge Strikes. Fucking hell. Okay, that's a pretty crazy rotation. And it is much more simple than anything else. I mean, remember, you're not going Icy Touch, Plague Strike, Blood Strike, Blood Strike, Scourge Strike, Scourge Strike. You're not doing any of that. You're just spamming Scourge Strike and occasionally pressing Death Coil and Festering Strike when your runes aren't death runes. Okay? So let's have a look through the tree. At the very bottom of the tree, you've got Unholy Command. Now, this is a leveling talent, and it will basically help you level faster, because every time you kill something, your death grip will refresh. So you can keep death gripping every single mob once you've killed it. Okay, so you can use that on cooldown. I haven't really been using that in the videos because they've only just added it. This used to be Glyph of Death Grip, but it's now there. Okay, so along the top of this Unholy Tree, you've also got Virulence, which increases your chance to hit with spells. Now, this is worth having for pretty much all of the raiding specs because you have a lot of spells. I'm not sure Outbreak, that may well be classified as a spell, and you certainly don't want to mess with it. I could be completely wrong. But frankly, you're going to take that instead of the Death Grip ability to get into this tree. Now, once you've taken 3 out of 3 Epidemic, which is the other talent, that increases the duration of your diseases. So if I learn this, you'll see that Outbreak... Oh no, I can't cast it on you anymore because I'm dueling you, but... I'm not dueling you, but... it increases... That's quite a big extension. I mean, they last for... now they last for 33 seconds each.
33? Fuck.
Yeah, that's a long time. So when you press Outbreak, you really only need a couple of Festering Strikes to get that up to a minute and bring you round to the next Outbreak. Obviously, if you're attacking multiple mobs, you can usually use Pestilence to spread your diseases and spread them back. That is going to be a feature of the Unholy Tree, because this thing here, Contagion, increases the damage of your diseases spread by pestilence by 100%. So often you'll actually kind of want to be like, instead of refreshing your diseases, you'll want to be spreading them to and fro. So that kind of encourages you to use pestilence, which is no problem because obviously you've got so many death runes hanging around that it's not really that difficult to squeeze one out of your Scourge Strike rotation. Okay. The other talents you've got at the top of this tree are Desecration, which used to be really, really deep in the tree, and this is the one which has those like hands slowing you out of the ground. It used to be really, really annoying because
it's
it was,
terrifying.
and I mean it's a PvP ability basically. That's now at the top of the tree, so other lines can pick it up. Bear in mind if you're playing Blood or Frost, you can go this deep in this tree. That is all. You can't get any other things from this tree, from the third tier. And these are the good abilities in the third tier. So you won't be taking that as a raider. This one is also a PvP ability. So if your diseases are dispelled, you have a 100% chance to activate the rune that allows you to refresh your disease. So for example, if you get your if you get your fever or blood plague dispelled, you can instantly refresh them by, you've got the rune back basically. That's the cool thing about that. However, in PvP, obviously you're not going to be using Outbreak very often. You are still going to be using Icy Touch Plague Strike because there's not really any other way to get your diseases up. However, bear in mind that Chains of Ice now infects the target with Frost Fever. So if you're playing Unholy in PvP, Chains of Ice will refresh your Frost Fever for you. So that bonus Frost rune might let you, cast Chains of Ice again. That's probably what you're going to do in PvP. For raiding, you're going to want to take this one, which is Damage and Healing of Death Coil, because there isn't anything else. And you'll actually find at this point in the Unholy Tree that you're a bit screwed because you've got one more point to spend, and the only 3 abilities are either PvP abilities or Death Grip cooldown. So might as well stick it in the Death Grip cooldown, because none of them have any other advantage for you. The third tier is where things start getting interesting. Runic Corruption. Now this is a weird one. I'm going to take 2 points in it. It reduces the cost of death coils, and it changes the way your Runic Empowerment ability works. Now I should have mentioned this before, but Runic Empowerment is actually a new ability for the Death Knights, which is kind of being glossed over. But it really is fundamental to the way they play.
What does it do, Lewis? What does it do?
Runic Empowerment. Let me have a look. It's here. When you use your Death Coil, Frost Strike, or Rune Strike, you have around a 50%, so actually a 45% chance to instantly activate a random, fully depleted rune. Right? I didn't even mention this in the new video, but the point is that they've actually changed the way runes recharge. You may have already noticed this when you were watching my rune cooldowns. But if you watch, if I cast 2 Festering Strikes in a row... Join me.
Okay.
If I cast 2 Festering Strikes in a row, you'll notice that all the runes cool down at once. So look, you see that rune is cooling down and that rune is cooling down. These 2 aren't cooling down because we're still waiting. Okay? Only one of each type of rune can be recharging at once. This dramatically slows down the Death Knight rotation, and arguably means that your rotation isn't going to be Festering Strike, Festering Strike. It's going to be Festering Strike, Scourge Strike, Scourge Strike, Death Coil, because there's no point in pressing another Festering Strike while those are still on cooldown, if that makes sense. You might as well... I mean, you can use them, but they won't start recharging until the other one has finished. See what I mean? So it will change the rotation a little bit and slow things down. I didn't really make that very clear, but you should get the idea basically. What Runic Corruption does is it changes Runic Empowerment so it no longer has that random effect. So if you're playing Frost or Blood, your Frost Strikes and Rune Strikes are going to randomly give you free runes to use at any time. Whereas with Unholy, that's not going to happen. It just means your runes recharge faster, which is kind of nice, but it simplifies the rotation. if you watched the Ret Pally video, you'll realise that this rotation is so simple compared to what you're expected to do as a Ret Paladin. In this tier, you've actually got a new ability called Unholy Frenzy. Now, Unholy Frenzy is what used to enrage your ghoul and make it more powerful. Now it's basically Hysteria. So you can use Unholy Frenzy on yourself, much like you used Hysteria. It will damage you, but it's a very nice self-buff. Contagion I mentioned before. I don't know quite how this is going to work, but it's quite interesting to see that your diseases are going to hit harder if they're spread by pestilence. It's kind of weird, kind of cool.